In today's society of broken hearts, shattered dreams, and economic hardships, homeless families make up 40% of the homeless population.
When I was in Birmingham and working professionally, I literally would drive 2 blocks around where the mission was located down there because I didn't want to deal with those people. And it was very ironic that, I didn't want to have to face the reality of people that were actually poor and in need. I didn't want anybody panhandling. I didn't want to have to interface with them. And it's funny that just years afterwards, I literally was living in their shoes. I had really hit rock bottom, and it was just a matter of working my way back up. But it was just poor choices that I had made, and believe it or not, while I was on the street, I saw me and several other people, and it just blew my mind. When it came time for me to make the next step and say, hey, I'm ready to step out and start working on my own again, start looking for a professional-oriented job, Brother Reasoner, who was running the rescue mission at the time, came to me and said, Bruce, you've seen every facet of life. You've been to the top, you've hobnobbed at country clubs, you've been on the street, and you've literally slept with the worst of the worst. You know everybody's story from across the board. We'd love for you to come work for us, and I think that God has called you into this service. And I went to work for the rescue mission, and the rest is history. It really, truly is in my blood. Temporarily, after I left the mission, I had been there for several years, I worked at the Conservation League because I'm an outdoor lover. But when you have somebody that's chaining themselves to a tree and willing to die for that tree, but at the same time you've seen people literally dying on the streets, it kind of prioritizes things, and I just couldn't wait for something else to open up in this field. And it wasn't long before Safe Haven came knocking. So I've been working as an executive director here for 3 years. Safe Haven's unique in the fact that it deals with families as a whole unit. When people think about homelessness, they think about the man with a "will work for food" sign, and that's just a stereotype, and that really only makes up probably 0.5% of the actual homeless population that's out there.
My life before coming to Safe Haven, it was good. I had a beautiful duplex that we lived in. We had a wonderful garden. I had my own car. We loved going to the library. Very involved in the community. We started a neighborhood watch. I got to know my neighbors, not only on my street, but the street over. Just basically being involved with my surroundings and just working. I was we're a very happy family. A big chunk of my income, which was coming from their wonderful father, who decided he didn't want to help out anymore. So he's no longer in the United States, and that big chunk of income really put a hurt on us financially, because where I work at, I don't make enough money to support myself and my 2 children. I got a call from my landlord. I used to work second shift. He called us on a Wednesday, left a message on the phone that he wasn't able to work with us anymore, so we could no longer stay. He gave us Wednesday. He said the sheriff department was coming Friday to put our belongings out. That's when it kind of hit me like, whoa, we're gonna be homeless here. I felt a relief in a way, because I knew I could not keep hiding or keep trying to make up payments and getting further and further in debt. Something was going to have to go. So really, it was a big burden off of me, but it was sad. I was losing my neighbors. I was losing my doggie, which was a very hard thing for us to do. Giving up my privacy to come to a place that I knew nothing about. I had to throw my stuff in storage, what I could afford to put in storage, and we just had the clothes that was on our backs, and the car looked like a moving van. I've been here ever since May. I came May 18, and hopefully in the next 2 to 3 weeks, we'll have our own place.
We've got gaps as far as homeless families, or people who are transitioning homeless, who aren't chronically homeless, who may have just lost their home and jobs, and need a place in the interim. They're not going to be out there forever. They're only out there for a few months, maybe. There are whole families back here at Operation Stand Down. We have to split families up because we don't have a program that will take in a whole family, at least not in Nashville, to my knowledge. There is one, Safe Haven.
We had to stay in a hotel, and I spent the money that I had intended for my deposit and my first month's rent and moving expenses on the hotel room. And the money ran out, and then we had no place to go. And so my cousin told me that she'd heard about Safe Haven and she was going to look it up for me. And she looked it up over the internet, gave me the phone number and the address, and that's how we wound up here. It was scary because I'd never been without a place to live. How do you cram all of your kids into a hotel room and try to explain to them that you all have to share a bed and share this confined space and figure out what you're gonna eat for the night, because all you've got is a microwave. You can't cook them dinner. They have to eat SpaghettiOs and noodles all the time. I had to do what I had to do. I took them to school and I tried to find a job and do what I needed to do to try to get us back on our feet. And when the money ran out, I'm telling you, it was a blessing, because I thought we had to go to the rescue mission. And that was definitely gonna be hard. Trying to pack up everything that we had every morning to leave, and then, do what we had to do and then drag everything back out. So it was a blessing that this opportunity was there when it was. I tried not to look at it as something I did wrong, but when you're in your situation, it's hard not to feel that way. I mean, I knew that was circumstances that were out of my control, but part of me felt like there was something more that I could have done, that I should have done. Right now, I work for a property management company as a floating office assistant. My dreams are to find a job that's challenging, that's fun, something that I love, and to be able to go back to school and get my degree in business management and accounting, and move up a little better, and then one day buy our own home, so that we have some place that we can call ours, our own home.
There's a lot of people that's in my situation. I just talked to a co-worker of mine who just moved out of a shelter, who's doing very well. She works at Vanderbilt with me, and some of my other co-workers who were first laughing at me because I was in a shelter, finding themselves asking me questions how to get in a shelter. So to me, this is getting to be normal. It's really hard out there. People are living from paycheck to paycheck. It's just not enough. If you're doing it by yourself, it is not enough money unless you're making 15 or 16 bucks an hour. And that's what it's gonna take. If you're a single mom and if you have more than 2 kids, whoa. So I think a lot of people that are in my situation, they don't really want to admit it. They don't really want to admit that they need the help. They just want to kind of keep going like, oh, I'm not in a shelter, I can do this and do that. But you see it every day when they come to work. They don't have lunch, they don't have gas money. They're catching the bus. You have a vehicle, but you're not driving it because you don't have the money to put the gas in the car to get here. And that was my situation. Yes, that's a J.
The government's not going to solve this problem. It's going to take the community literally to work together to solve this problem.
Sadly, tonight in America, 3 million children are without a home to call their own.